what? These other wives were a mistake, that God accidentally put them in your path and that you found them to be your wives? Was that all an accident? And now that he finally put Robin in front of you, now you can weep for joy that God finally got it right? I mean, what is he saying here? I did not appreciate that. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Sam.
And I'm Melissa.
I grew up in the FLDS community. It is a polygamous group run by Warren Jeffs, and I moved out when I was 18 years old.
I was raised LDS. Sam and I have been married for 9 years and have 2 awesome kiddos.
Yes, we do. If you're interested in just listening in today, we do have our podcast available, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, if you are from a polygamous background and would like to share your story with the world, please feel free to reach out to us at growingupinpolygamy@gmail.com.
We also have our holiday fundraiser.
Yes.
My holiday cheer. Hope my earrings aren't too loud in your ears. But we do have a holiday fundraiser for the Short Creek Dream Center, where they have taken a old home of Warren Jeffs and turn it into a place of refuge for families that are leaving the FLDS polygamous community and being able to help them with resources and a fresh start to their life. If you want to donate to that, please click the link below. We are about halfway to our goal of $3,000.
Thank you all so much for your donations.
Thank you so much.
Great cause.
Yes, that $3,000 goal is what it'll take for us to renovate and adopt a room there and make that livable for some people leaving polygamous situations. So
we've done a tour of the place, and it's just such a great place for people to come, where the rest of the world doesn't really understand what they've been through, but they've taken it upon themselves to make sure that they cater to those specifically leaving the FLDS and some other places as well, but mostly FLDS.
Yes. Today we are back with our Fresh Eyes on Sister Wives Season 18, Episode 15 and 16. So this is the one-on-one interviews. Woo! One-on-one interviews.
Everybody is kind of spilling the tea and talking about their true feelings towards each other.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man. And I'm like, how long are they going to keep like this show running? Are they going to like really follow 5 storylines, right? Because, well, I don't even know if Robin gets enough words in to be able to even be a part of it. Like, It is crazy. She doesn't have like a storyline. Like, she, even in the last episode, like before these one-on-ones, she's like, everyone just takes, if Cody says it, then it's what I think. And I'm so sick of everything that I say, like everything being what Cody's saying for me. And
right. There's probably a lot of you out there that are happy that Robin is finally being shut up. But it is interesting to see that now Robin is just Cody's wife, right? Like, whatever, I don't care what she thinks. She's just Cody's wife. And the other wives, or used to be wives, are just sharing their, I don't know if hatred is kind of a strong word, but their frustrations with Cody and how he's been handling everything.
Yeah, for those who don't know, normally we try to cover the religious aspect and compare and contrast their polygamous lifestyle with the way Sam grew up in polygamy and a little bit of my LDS background. There's really not a lot of that in these one-on-ones. It's a lot of recapping, them looking back on things from the season and looking at some of the dumpster fire moments and reflecting on them. I think if we could like sum up this whole, like these 2 episodes, right? Part 1 and part 2 of the one-on-one interviews, it would be, does Cody Brown know what love means? Does he know what the word means? Because he was so... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I would just say, or we could sum it up even shorter and say, why is Cody still talking? Somebody tell him to stop. Every time he tries to make sense of something that he has said previous, it just gets more confusing and less understandable. It's so hard to watch him. Even in the moment, he'll say one thing, and the person interviewing him will try to clarify, okay, did you mean this? No. And then he'll say something else that doesn't make any sense either. Man, it's hard to watch.
And a lot of times it has to do with the word love, right? Like he's like, well, I never loved any of them. Well, I did that because I loved them. Well, I never loved anybody except for Robin. But, well, no, it's not just about sex because it's a loving relationship. So it's loving. He has love. He's never loved. He does love. He's in love. Love of his life. Never loved. Like, it's all these words. Like,
and all of these things that Melissa just mentioned have been said about all of the different wives at different points and different times.
Yeah, I feel like in Princess Bride.
It's so hard to... I mean, what is going on in his brain?
In Princess Bride, when they're like, I do not think that means what you think it means. That's what I want to say with Cody Brown and the word love. I do not think it means what you think it means.
I mean, the only thing Here's the thing. I can't really defend him at all, to be honest, because he ultimately signed up for this, right? It's not like he was thrown into this and forced to have multiple wives and forced to do all of this. This was his choosing, his doing. So you can't try to justify his actions at all. But I can say this. I can say with certainty now, he had no idea what he was getting himself into. No idea.
Well, yeah. Well, not even just like with the show or just his marriages completely.
Both.
Because
all of it.
He was, well, how many years? 16 years deep? Oh, no, 20 years deep with Mary. 20 years in the very first season. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot. But we'll get into what he was talking about. And I think too, sorry, last thing and then we'll get into it. But I think it's easy to look back and try to justify what you were feeling back then to make it make sense of how it got here and where you feel now, right? I feel like that's what Cody tries to do, is he tries to look back and be like, well, it's because I must have never felt this or the because we got here. Instead of acknowledging that, like, he just has changed a lot or the situation has changed a lot. I don't know. So I think that's one of the frustrating things for me is it's easy to look back and be like, oh, how did I go from here to here? It must have been But we're watching the past seasons, like starting from number 1, and we're 4 seasons in. And some of the stuff he says, I'm like, that's just either you're a liar, because this is exact opposite of what you said in season 1, 2, 3, and 4. So either you're a liar or you're forgetting or you're making, wasn't it Robin that said, like, it's easy to make up history?
Yeah.
And she's like, I see a lot of that all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh.
Cody keeps saying this. He keeps saying, well, I married some of these wives for the religious aspect, right? Like it was just for the spiritual aspect. I didn't actually love them. If you are from the FLDS, then I could say, okay, yeah, I can understand that because you were assigned, the prophet called you and said, hey, you are to marry so-and-so. This is the way God wants it. This is how it's going to be. But you have to remember, Cody and his wives, they were not in that situation. They both were able to choose, able to court or date, whatever you want to call it. They were adults. They had every choice in it. So to have him try to blame his religion or his religious belief, that just makes no sense, and it's not true. Anyone could do that later. If someone has a problem with their spouse later down the road and they're a religious person, they could blame the religion. Everyone likes to blame someone else or something else, and that is definitely what he's doing.
Yes. And that's the very first point that I had written down is he said, I was wanting to live the principle so badly, I did not vet them to see if we were compatible. And
I was wanting multiple wives so badly that I didn't think about the fact that I needed to love these wives. I mean, come on.
I know. Again, I think that's a total cop-out for, like, past things because you're like, okay, yes, maybe he did want to live the principle. First of all of his stuff about Mary, like, we've seen the tapes. We've seen the footage back. We heard him in the was it the 3rd season when he was like, Mary and I married my soulmate. He called Mary his soulmate.
They were deeply in love,
and how deeply in love. And now he's trying to claim that that's not the case and saying, I didn't vet anyone to make sure. Well, his first wife was 100% a normal courting, deciding to get married experience. Wanting to live a plural lifestyle does not mean you have to rush into your first marriage and just marry the first chick that says, hey, let's get married.
Right.
So that logic doesn't even make sense with Mary to begin with. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
For the other two, he keeps, and it's so frustrating to me because I feel like Janelle and him actually had a decent relationship for like a lot of the portion of the show.
He keeps calling it a friendship.
Yeah, a really strong friendship with obviously good benefits according to this show. But that's a whole other thing. But anyway, it's like, okay, obviously it seems like it's okay with them, but then I feel so bad when he keeps talking about the fact that, like, oh, well, Janelle, like, basically inserted herself into the family. So to act like she just inserted herself, okay, in every polygamous religion, it is very much a patriarchy. So, oh, poor Cody, some woman just forced himself, and I just had to marry her, and I had no choice, and I chose not to vet her. So either he's going with his, I'm an animal and I have no choice but to want to mate with a bunch of women, right? But don't try to claim that it's a religious thing and say like, oh, I just wanted to live polygamy so badly that I didn't care. And any woman could have come up to me and said, I want to be your wife. And he was like, oh, yeah, okay.
Right.
Like it just
it's so tough because you go back to the previous seasons. You know, we've been reviewing some of the early seasons, and in those seasons, it seems like Cody and all of the wives were very religious. They were doing it all for the religion, for God. It was all about that commitment. And then you go later down the road, and I don't know if they, or specifically he, Cody, has just forgotten about all of the religious stuff beforehand or what exactly, but he sure seems like that is the least of his worries. My commitment to God, I mean, it's the least of his worries at this point, it seems like.
Well, he even said that his theme song for this, because they were asking like the theme song for everybody, and Cody was like, losing my religion would be mine. So it definitely doesn't.
We know that he doesn't believe as strongly, but it's just interesting that now he's claiming that even back then, you know, he just makes it seem like the religion isn't really that big of a deal or that important in their commitments and all of that.
But yet it's so important that he didn't vet his wives because he just wanted to live the principle.
That's true, and it goes that direction.
This is the typical Cody, right? Like it's like, oh no, that's not why. Oh yes, it's completely why. And it's like back and forth. And then he's saying, I fell in love with Robin, no one else. I was just living the covenant. So again, blaming that it's just the religion for it. But then, like you said, he acts like he doesn't care about the religion at all now, and those covenants don't matter as much.
His weeping for joy for months after meeting Robin.
Yeah.
I don't know how y'all felt about that statement that he made, but that was cringy to me.
Yeah.
Because weeping for joy is such a religious
saying.
You don't say that unless you're very religious. So he took that religious aspect and said weeping for joy to make it sound like that his finding Robin was God's doing, and that it was all because of the religious aspect by using that. But weeping for joy after having 3 wives and multiple children, now he's weeping for joy?
Yeah, he had like 16, he had a lot. What, 11, 12, like 12 children before
with these other wives, and then Robin comes along, and all of a sudden, it's like, how could you be religious and feel that these other wives were a mistake, that God accidentally put them in your path and that you found them to be your wives? You know, was that all an accident? And now that he finally put Robin in front of you, now you can weep for joy that God finally got it right? I mean, what is he saying here? I did not appreciate that.
No, and then all the women had different, like, Robin said, I didn't know that Cody felt like that towards the other, like, she had never heard that he was weeping for joy for months on end. And that's very clear, like, in the first 2 seasons, like, of course it's not gonna hurt anybody's feelings to be the favorite, okay?
Right.
It's just not. Being the favorite feels good. So I'm not saying that she didn't enjoy being the favorite, but from the very, very beginning, she emphasized and re-emphasized and re-emphasized that she wanted to be a sister wife, that she wanted to live the principle, that she wanted this, and she kept talking about the fact that she thought Cody was such a great man because of the type of husband he was to his other wives. She talked about that so many times. So if she just thought, oh, he doesn't even love these other women, would she have even married him? Oh, it doesn't even look like he cares about these other women or any of his kids or any of his family, but he likes me, so that sounds great. That's not how she came into the family. That's not how the marriage started, upon this idea of, oh, I'm the only one he's in love with because he doesn't have any love for his other wives. And I just find that really attractive in a man when he wants to abandon his 3 wives and all these children for me.
Right.
It wasn't like that.
No. It seemed like what Cody wanted to do was, I mean, you know how
have his cake and eat it too?
Yeah, like, you know how some people will get married and later they find out that that's not going to work, so they get divorced and then they find someone else, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what Cody was doing, except for the fact that he just chalked it up as polygamy. He kept marrying until he found the one, which was Robin, and basically he had 3 divorces, and then he met the person that he wanted to be with.
Yeah, but he dragged the other women along for it all, which is the most cruel part. Like, Mary even said, like, I think he had the capacity to fit us in with Robin, right? And Janelle said that as well. Christine This made me so sad. She was like, when he married Robin, I saw what a real marriage looked like and what I wanted.
That would be so tough as a wife.
Yeah. Because, and they kind of mentioned before, Christine was saying, she's like, before Robin even came into the picture, Cody and I already had problems with our marriage. We know it wasn't all hunky-dory and rainbows and butterflies for them before Robin even came in, right? But at least maybe then it was equally people struggling, people getting better, people struggling, getting better, not this, okay, now there's this unicorn over here that all of us have to watch happen in front of our eyes, right? And then Cody said, and again, this is Cody flip-flopping, because then he's like, I'm guilty of not loving them. I'm guilty of not loving them. And then the interviewer's like, so you're admitting that you didn't love them?
No.
Well, no. No, what I'm saying is, and he just talks circles, right? Because every other time he's talking about how he tried to do this with love or do that with love. And then at the end of the day, I think he said it right when he's like, I wasn't loving them at that point. Yeah. As soon as he found his love in Robin. It was just rough. It was rough to watch him talk in circles and see these women. Then they showed Janelle and Cody's fight. They focused on that for a long time. Watching the other wives' faces.
None of us wanted to see that again, but it was interesting to see the other faces, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. And like, Janelle's like, yeah, that was the worst fight we'd ever had. And it gets over and Cody's like, they're like, oh, is that the worst fight you've ever had, Cody?
He claims that they've had other ones like that before.
Yeah.
And
Janelle's like, no, that was the worst fight we've ever had. And
it was also something interesting to see is that every one of them would say something different about each experience. So that was interesting. I don't know if they're just remembering it differently or if some of them, maybe Cody specifically, is just lying. I don't know, but it sure seems interesting that it's all a very different story by all of them.
One in particular was when they talked about Cody getting COVID, right? And Janelle was with Christine on a trip, and Janelle didn't come back when I was sick with COVID. And that was interesting because all three of them had different stories. Cody said, Janelle wouldn't come back and basically take care of me, although I'm sure he was with Robin, so I don't know how that would have worked anyway.
And they mentioned that Janelle wouldn't have been allowed in the home.
In the home.
Because they had COVID, and so...
That didn't make sense.
What he expected, I just don't understand this guy.
So he was like, that's not loyalty because she didn't come back from a trip. Like, I'm super sick and my wife's not there taking care of me. Janelle says, I called him. I was going to come back. And then he said, don't worry about it. You can't come into the house anyway, so it would be a waste of your time. And then Christine was like, Cody wanted her to go back. And I said, all you can do is drop off medicine. That's stupid. Don't go back.
Right.
There's no reason for it. So all of them had like very different perspectives on the same exact thing happening. But obviously for Cody, like Janelle didn't think it was a big deal. And Cody thought it was a huge deal. And it was like this big make or break moment.
Right. Which Cody apparently thought he was going to die, which is funny because we hear, it's not funny if someone's going to die, but it's interestingly, I say it's funny because now we've heard that his symptoms weren't that serious compared to what other people were experiencing. So it sounds like he was just being a baby about it and expecting everyone to bow before him because he was feeling sick.
Yeah, I can't wait for us to get to that season so we can see it ourselves for that because we're trying to start from the beginning. So we have next week we'll be doing season 5. So we're working our way through and I'm excited to see that the beginning of the end there. Also, it was kind of funny that the fact that she was with Christine, obviously Cody does not like that and said that he felt like she, Janelle picked Christine's side in the divorce. And was siding with her.
I can understand his frustration there. If you're still married with someone, if one of your wives, this is so unique because normally it's not multiple wives involved, but if one of your wives leaves, look at it like this. If you were married to someone and you had a friend, a close friend, and your spouse left you and your friend sided with your spouse instead of you, I can see that being hurtful and being very frustrating. And it'd almost be like a sign of who this person is loyal to.
Yeah, and that's what Cody was saying. And it was also hilarious because Christine's just laughing her head off, being like, oh, is this what it feels to be jealous?
Now you know.
When somebody chooses, this other wife instead of you. Oh, how's that feel, Cody? So she thought it was pretty hilarious. Obviously, there's lots of issues there with Janelle, and they were just watching back a lot of Janelle's stuff. Then they moved on to Mary.
Oh, boy.
And watching back, I think the hardest thing with Mary is that she found out so much stuff through the show. So she's talking about the fact that she didn't know that Cody didn't consider them married anymore until she saw it in the show. Then it was only within a couple months. So it looks like she's just being super naive because of the way that we see it, right? We see it a year later and we're watching this back and we're like, oh my gosh, like, why is she still there? Why is she still there? Look at all the things he's saying. Well, he's saying those things not to her.
I mean,
she's seeing it like a year later and being like, he said this that long ago, and I didn't know for 6 months until I saw it on TV that he didn't consider us married.
He's saying very hurtful things.
Yeah.
But according to Mary, he had never said anything that didn't give her some glimmer of hope that maybe he could change and that things could turn around. And once again, remember that Mary is doing this primarily for religious reasons, it sounds like, that she doesn't want to break that covenant that they had made with God. And so she's trying to make it work. And who knows what other reasons. I know a lot of people have opinions about the show and the different things, but I'm sure she has other reasons for sticking it out. But it seems like she's also holding on to the religious aspect.
Yeah, definitely. So they replayed all that. We watched that happen and unfold. Obviously, I think all of us are grateful that Mary was able to see it enough to say it in front of everyone and in front of Robin in particular. Although the whole conversation about whether or not Robin speaks Cody, right? I think Mary, more than Robin speaking Cody, even though they said that, I think Mary needed Robin to hear Cody admit it so that she could stop. She could be like, Robin, see, this is what he's saying, this is how he's feeling, you need to let go of me too and realize that this is a real thing. Everybody else though, Janelle's response was my favorite to like the Cody, and she's like, he's a grown man, he does not need, I don't need a translator, my kids don't need a translator. And what'd she say? We did okay without you for the first however many years, for the first 20 years of marriage. We didn't need you to translate Cody for us. I think we'll be fine from here on out.
And we started seeing a little bit of this, I believe it was in either season 3 or 4, just recently, we started seeing when they were all sitting there, Cody said something and the wives were about to ask a question and Robin said, I think what Cody's trying to say is this. So very early on, we start seeing that she's trying to be that translator for him, which I think, I mean, he needs one, but Robin, clearly didn't do the greatest job at it. But I honestly don't think that Cody is being fair to Robin either. I mean, it's interesting because it's all about how Cody just fell in love with Robin and left with her and now left all the other wives behind. But what we are realizing is that Robin isn't filled in on what he is saying to the other wives either. So
she's getting his version of everything.
So she's holding on to some hope because she's not realizing what's actually going on. So he's not even being loyal or talking, or I guess, what's the word, truthful, even with Robin. So, I mean, that can't feel good to her either.
Yeah, and with, like, when Cody said, and he said this again, and I hate it so much, when he said, like, I'm willing to put more effort, when he's talking about Mary, I'm willing to put more effort into this fake. And I just kept being like, fake for who? Like, are they trying to fake it? Are they faking it for TV so they can keep going more seasons? Or are they faking it for money? Are they faking it for God? Because I think God has figured out what's going on there. So if you're trying to fake it out for him, good luck with that. I'm just like, well, fake for who? He keeps saying that.
Well, and the funny thing is, why? You're telling the world your religious background, the people that belong to that church, anyone and everyone in the world now can see that you're faking it. What's the point in faking it if everyone already knows that it's fake?
Yeah, it's just so weird.
Even the person that you're faking it with knows it's fake. Like, what is the point? It is just, if you're absolutely certain that you're not going to mend it, call it off. The fact that Cody is not willing to step up and call it off is just, it's just so...
At least it's finally over. I'm just glad we don't have to watch that aspect anymore. I'm like, oh, this is the last time that we have to watch back, see it all happen again, and hopefully we can just, like, be done with Cody and Mary. Just be done with watching Mary go through that.
Oh, man.
It was sad to see. The last thing I'll say is the ring. The story of the ring, right? Like,
that Christine brought up. She was sharing the story. She mentioned it very casually and quickly. Obviously very hurtful to Mary that Christine would talk about a story that I think Mary obviously Mary feels like that has much more
weight and intimacy on her relationship with Cody that she didn't want shared with people because of how hurtful it is.
Well, it was their original first wedding ring, right? So they were the first two to come, fall in love, get married. Nothing else was involved here. Not even a child. It was Mary and Cody, the wedding ring, right? I mean, how could that not be so symbolic? And then to find out, which the show never shared this until Christine shared it with us, which, I mean, I'm kind of glad she did. Now we know, but of course it was very hurtful to Mary. And I feel bad for Mary that Christine brought it up. But whether it was bad or not, I don't know. But anyway, that Cody actually melted the ring down.
Because Cody didn't want Mary to have a claim on him. And then the timeline's interesting. I would love to know more about the timeline because Christine claimed that it was like Mary and Christine both claimed that it was either when he was dating Robin or right after they got married. Like it was in that time frame, like right before they got married. But Robin was in the picture that he melted this down. He didn't want Mary to have claim on him. The only person who said that it was way before that was Robin.
Way before she came
Robin
into the picture.
Robin was like, that was way before I came into the picture. Right. That happened. It didn't have anything to do with me. So, man, if there's anybody who has like an article link or a fact check on that, I am so curious because I feel like that makes a huge world of difference of like, was there marriage already having issues even before Robin came?
Right.
I know said they were having hard times, but like, was it that bad? In which case, she hasn't been holding on for 6 or 7 years. She's been holding on for like 12 years. And that's probably why she didn't want anyone to know about it.
That's what I was going to say is you see the reaction that Mary had, and our first thought was, I don't know that it's that big of a deal because we know of all the issues you've had. I don't know that this is really new information, but I think that by us knowing that long ago, Cody did something that horrible to his relationship with Mary that just completely slapped her in the face and stomped all over her by melting that ring down. The fact that he did it that long ago would make the viewers say, whoa, 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 Mary, why didn't you leave him then? I mean, do you need a bigger sign than that? Yeah,
could they have even gotten the show? Could they have even gotten the show? Because the whole point was to show this happy polygamous family. And if he's melting down, we should go back to season 1 and see if he has his ring on. I know that the women in season 2 all got him that new clotter ring, right?
Right.
Together. So it was before that. But in the very first episode, we need to go back and watch.
But we'll never know if the ring he's wearing is the ring that he got when he married Mary or not. Well, we won't know which ring he's wearing regardless. So maybe an insider here, help us out.
Yeah.
You know, is who is it? Mary and Christine lying, or is Robin lying? That because Robin said it was way before she came into the picture.
Oh, or here's the third option. What if Mary and Christine are correct and Cody lied to Robin and that's all Robin knows? What if Robin asked about it and was like, Cody, did you really do this, to Mary's ring? Oh, yeah, that was long before you came in the picture. And that's all she knows is what Cody told her.
I can see that happening.
I feel like that's probably the most accurate. If they're all telling the truth according to how they know it. And the common denominator liar is Cody.
Surprise, surprise. I think you're onto something here.
Yeah. Anyway, it was hard. They also talked about the fact that everyone felt like they had to earn Cody's love and a relationship with him, that it was constantly being earned instead of just a normal happy marriage or even a marriage where people are trying. And it's sad. Again, I'm very curious if they continue on with the show, what it's even going to look like, if they're going to are they going to be following around the women individually? Are they going to be focusing, maybe it just turns into a Cody and Robin show? Because this whole season, like I said, Robin really wasn't a part of it other than being around when Mary was around.
I don't think they'll do a Cody and Robin show because no one's going to watch. I mean, comment if I'm wrong. If it was just Cody and Robin, would you watch?
Yeah, let us know.
I mean, at this point, I think that most people are siding with the women that are leaving Cody and Robin, not Cody and Robin. So you got to wonder. And it seems like that Robin is slowly but surely slipping out of the picture, and now it's the Cody show.
Well, in the teaser trailer, right, they showed that like they were going to be asking Robin in the next episodes questions about whether or not Cody's pushing her away, right?
Oh, that's true. It did tease about that.
So we'll see what their relationship's even looking like. But yeah, leave in the comments if you would watch a show just about Cody and Robin. I would definitely tune into at least a couple episodes.
I would be curious,
to
especially
see what's behind the veil. Like you never see what's going on with those two.
Especially if he starts doing things to push her away. I can see that piquing some interest.
Yeah. If you want to hear more of what it was like for Sam to grow up in polygamy, then please like and subscribe. Again, our donation for our holiday fundraiser for the Short Creek Dream Center is down below. Help us adopt a room for them. And yes, if you want to hear more about our fresh eyes on Sister Wives, stay tuned. Every single week, we'll be doing an episode on Sister Wives, whether it's the newest season or us going back and starting fresh from the beginning. Next week is season 5.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Looking forward to that. Thank you all so much for being with us again. We look forward to talking with you soon.
We'll talk to y'all soon.